Welcome to the Executive Hustle podcast, where I am your host, Kirsten, speaker, author, retired CEO, mother of four, and recovering workaholic. Explore with Central Pennsylvania local executives what it takes to lead well, live well, and learn well. Understanding that leaders cannot survive, let alone thrive, without a spirit of curiosity, a discipline of accountability, and a disposition for vulnerability. Let's dive in. Welcome to the Executive Hustle podcast. Joining me today is Stacy Winslow, Superintendent of the Derry Township School District. Thank you so much for joining me today, Stacy.
I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, very excited. Lots to dive into today. One of the things I start with typically is like, did you know you would always do this? And I know a lot of people in education. I spent a couple decades in education, and I know a lot of people that always knew they were going to be a teacher. Is that the same for you?
That's a great question. And yes.
Proving the data here.
I always say it's like I feel like it was like a calling to the priesthood.
Yeah.
Like from the time that I was a little girl, I knew that I wanted to be a teacher. I didn't know what all the different aspects were that one could be a part of in education, but I knew I wanted to be a teacher from the time I was 7 or 8 years old.
Oh my gosh. And did you go right in from college, straight into teaching?
I did.
Okay.
I did. I went, college right to, first job was at a neighboring district, and that was a long-term sub position, but yeah, there was nothing in between. It was graduate in.
Dive in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you bounce around a lot? I saw you spent a long time at Mannheim. Was that sort of a home district for you?
Yeah, I actually did my student teaching at Mannheim Township. So
Okay.
I was there for my student teaching, and then did a long-term sub stint, like I said, at a neighboring district here. And then, yeah, I was at Mannheim Township for 19 years, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a long
Yeah, 19
time.
years. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had great opportunities there.
What made you sort of move over to another district? Was it just an opportunity to move up or
Yeah, it
change?
was sometimes I felt like I was ready for more of a leadership role and
Mm-hmm.
wanted to be a building principal. I was an
Okay.
assistant principal
Mm-hmm.
when I left, and there was an elementary principal position open at Mannheim Township that I would applied for, and then the middle school, Hershey Middle School position that I
Mm-hmm.
applied for here at the same time. And Hershey offered first, and it felt like it was time to do something a little different. And a lot of my colleagues who knew me well, that I had worked with for a long time at Mannheim Township, had um, warned me, I would say would be the right way to say it, that I would get bored really quickly at a
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood elementary school.
Okay.
Like, you'll like it at first and it'll be fun, and then you'll do the things and then you'll get bored.
So you like to be challenged, I'm guessing.
Yeah, yeah.
You went to middle school, you said?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I started
Okay.
out here at Derry Township as Hershey Middle School principal.
Okay. Middle school
Best job
seems
ever.
like it has plenty of challenges that don't stop.
Plenty, plenty,
Having
plenty.
several middle schoolers going through that age range. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
What stands out for you during those years?
During the middle school years,
Yeah.
oh gosh, middle schoolers are so fun. And they'll still say pretty much anything, which
Hmm.
I'm sure you know, having middle school.
I do.
Um,
I do.
and they're so open. Um, and they just need a lot of support.
Hmm.
And being a principal, you get to know kids and families in a way that is very different than what you get to know them as a teacher.
Yeah.
And sometimes those are heartbreaking ways.
Hmm.
But it also gives you an opportunity to support and help in ways that you didn't want. It's not in any of the principal handbooks,
Uh-huh.
but also like that you don't necessarily get to do as a teacher.
Yeah.
Um, and there's also it's just fun leading a building and getting to know the staff and their families and the things that matter to them, and that just whole like a building work environment can start to feel like a family work environment in both
Hmm.
good and bad ways, right?
Sure, sure. With the family comes the good and the bad.
Exactly,
Yes.
right. You get on each other's nerves, but like only I can pick on my family. Nobody else can
Hmm.
pick on my family.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a tribe. You want to protect them.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
exactly. Exactly.
Mm. So at what point, and this comes right after COVID is what I'm reading with your years of experience, you decide like, hey, let me just take on more right after
Well,
the pandemic.
that was yeah, very unfortunate timing, strange timing. Um, because I interviewed for, so when did we shut everything down? We would have shut everything down in March of 2020. And
Hmm.
I had been appointed as the next superintendent in January of 2020. So
Okay.
just a couple of months prior
Okay.
to that. So had no
So
idea.
you'd made the decision to do it prior
Yeah.
to, but didn't
Yes.
take the chair until,
Wait, I'm saying that wrong. We closed down and no, I did do it when we were in the middle of the pandemic.
yeah.
Had to like I had to think about that, to back that up and think
You
about it.
might have blocked some of
I
it out.
wanted to deny that I actually took it on, knowing what I was walking into, but
I
that's
don't think
not
you
true.
can.
I
I don't
did
think you
know.
can.
I did know. Yeah.
Hmm.
It was
Hmm.
January of 2021 when I
Yeah.
was appointed superintendent. So
Wow.
we were still wearing masks. We were still doing
Right.
the whole thing.
Right.
And then yeah, yeah, yeah. What I don't
Uh-huh.
know why I
Yeah.
did that.
You don't know why you didn't. To this day, you're like, why am I here? How did I get
Like
here?
like what like, what was I thinking of?
Yeah. What surprised you in those first couple months besides the global pandemic? Just put the global
Yeah, yeah.
pandemic to the side.
Um, you know what's interesting when I think about that first year as superintendent, because there's not, you think that there's like this kind of stepping stone, like you'll be a teacher and then you'll be a
Hmm.
building leader and then you'll be a district office leader and all those things will prepare you to be the superintendent.
Hmm.
Um, and in some ways they do, just having experiences, like just, life experience prepares you for other life experience. And also the job is so different than
Hmm.
any of those other jobs, um, that I don't know if it would have really mattered if we skipped like a whole bunch of steps and just became superintendent. Like I don't like it just because it's so different. And I don't know that there's anything that can really prepare you fully for it until you're in it.
Until you're in it.
But when I think about that very first year, it was all pandemic.
Hmm.
Like it was all pandemic all the time. And I do not really feel like I learned a lot about being a superintendent that year, like the actual job of being a superintendent.
Right.
I learned a lot about managing through really difficult decisions and really divisive um, dialogues and um, conflicting opinions. Like
Hmm.
I learned a lot about that sort of thing in that year, but I don't feel like I learned a lot about being an actual superintendent. I feel like
Actual
I
job.
started to learn about what the actual job was and how to do it in year two.
Mm. So you almost had 2-year ones.
That's what it
They're
felt
just
like at the
very
time.
different. Yeah,
Yeah.
very different years.
Yeah.
Wow. That's that's quite a challenge. Well, yeah, I'm sure you weren't bored then.
Never.
I'm sure you weren't bored. That's crazy. What would you go back and tell yourself on day one?
Oh gosh. Wow, what a great question. I would tell myself you can't let people live rent free in your head,
Yes.
because that was a really hard lesson to learn and it took me a long time to kick some people out of my head.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Um, I would tell myself that everything's a season
Mm-hmm.
and you have to take care of yourself in the season because there's going to be stuff on the other side of it.
Yeah.
Um, I would remind myself that there will be another side to this. This isn't going to be a forever thing.
Yeah.
Um, trying to think. There's just some other things that if I had, like when I look back, I would have done them differently, but I don't know. Like I don't know if anything other than experience would have gotten me to that place
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to realize that, oh, that was a thing that I should have done differently.
Yeah. And without that experience, you wouldn't be able to go back. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's so
Exactly.
circular. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's so poignant. You know, this is a season. There will be another season. I like to say in my practices that you live your life in chapters, right? And
Hmm.
this is just that chapter.
Yep.
And one chapter doesn't make a book,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Exactly.
And, let's get through this chapter, title it, and move on
Yeah.
to the
Yeah.
next one. Yeah. Well, I don't know that I would have picked the job during that season, but not you. And kudos for you. It sounds like you're the right person for that job. And you've come out the other side. It's 5 years later. I was reading about the district's strategic plan or comprehensive plan that you have. I think your
Yeah.
theme is transformation. Is that right?
Yeah.
Tell me about where that came from and how does that show up for you and for your leadership team?
I mean, I think one of the things that we're always looking at is how do we innovate and
Mm-hmm.
how do we stay in as much as possible in front of the curve. Um, and I think one of the things that we've seen in the last, 10 and 15 years, and you see it in industry as well, like there's just like things are just moving at this pace that is
Yep.
kind of wild. And and I've talked with the team about it, and it's one of those things that's difficult to keep it front of mind in your day to day. Like, I gotta get through this. I gotta help this kid with this. I gotta work through this
Mm-hmm.
discipline issue. I have to answer this parent phone call. Have to,
Yeah.
and also recognize that we have a new puppy
Mm.
here at the district office,
Oh.
and we're giggling because she just ran past the door with some kind of squeaky toy in her mouth. And since we started out with like, do you have anything that's gonna beep?
We didn't think about the
Did
dog.
not think about the puppy. So I'm sorry, that made me
That's a
giggle.
first. That's a first.
Right.
Does that fit into transformation at all or no?
I mean, she definitely helps people to feel more comfortable,
Yeah.
which is great. And she's so cute. Um, Anyhow, I really do think that education will look very different in 10 or 15 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't have a big enough imagination to know exactly what that means, but I think it's coming.
Yeah.
And I think one of the pieces that we keep trying to weave into our work is how do we make sure that we don't become irrelevant in that shift? Are we
Okay.
part of that shift? Are we driving that shift? Um, let's not be taken by total surprise when this happens because we can see it coming, even
Right.
though we don't know exactly what it means or looks like yet. How do we innovate to stay in front of that, or at least relevant in it if we
Yeah.
can't stay in front of
To
it?
be to stay part of it. Right.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do we make sure that the public education is still serving the needs of a democratic republic? What
Mm-hmm.
what are we doing for our citizenry, and how do we make sure that the kids are leaving our schools ready to be good neighbors and citizens in their communities?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Um, and what does that mean and look like as the years, project out?
Well, and one of the things that is hard for any business is to take that vision in a strategic plan and turn it into, okay, well, what's happening on the ground
Hmm.
level, right?
Hmm. Exactly.
You've got to have that same challenge. If you're saying, okay, we want to be transformational, we want to innovate to stay relevant, we
Hmm.
want to create good citizens. How does that turn into
Hmm.
what a teacher is doing day in and day out when they have that same to-do list that you just,
Exactly. Exactly. Like you
yeah,
have that piece, and then and we have this booklet of state mandates that are this
right,
high, and you got to be here at 7:35 in the morning.
right.
Like there are just a lot of pieces that are still very
Mm-hmm.
1955, while within that framework, trying to like
Mm-hmm.
be 2030.
Yeah.
It's hard.
And how does your team like approach that challenge? What's the mindset? What's the strategy? How are you
Um,
leading them through that?
we have a great team, and a lot of what we talk about are frameworks.
Okay.
So what are the frameworks that allow us to do the work that we know is right for kids
Mm-hmm.
and allow us to um, innovate while staying within the frameworks that we know work. Um, so for example, how do I how do I increase engagement with my instructional practices while also still working with colleagues to make sure that we're meeting the needs of every single kid that walks through the door?
Mm-hmm.
How am I making sure that these kids over here can read, but am I removing the social emotional learning barriers that are getting in the way for those kids? Like how am I meeting their heart needs before I get to their head needs?
Right.
And I think that's a really big part of education today, and will continue to be so in the future, and it has to be part of the framework of what we do.
Mm-hmm. Well, that fits in what I was seeing on your site where you said everyone feels loved, welcome, and respected. I mean, that that doesn't start with okay, they're also going to read, write, and
Right.
you
Exactly.
know, that
Exactly.
feels like it comes before that.
Exactly.
And is
Exactly.
yeah, it's like a prerequisite
Yeah.
for that. How,
Yeah.
I know you're a metrics based person. We've worked together in
Mhm.
the past. I've
Mhm.
seen you present data.
Mhm.
What are some things that you track to be able to see if the frameworks you're using are working?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we have some internal surveys that we use
Okay.
specifically around our social emotional learning work that are we've worked with Lehigh University to make sure that there's reliability and validity to
Sure.
those surveys, and then they've helped us to dig in deeper and do some targeted interviews on occasion.
Yeah.
Um, the first 2 years that we had that work in place coming out of COVID, and it was a desperate need at that time.
Yeah.
Um, we gave the survey twice a year, got a really solid baseline. Now we only give it once a year,
Mm-hmm.
but we use that to see where we are with how students and staff are perceiving
Hmm.
um, the culture and the belongingness
Mm-hmm.
of
Yeah.
what we're offering. Um, and it's how we drive a lot of our staff development then.
Got
So
it.
we look at what those survey results are and what are the needs that we're seeing, like where are the gaps. And then we target learning like on our 2 hour late start days, for example. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of that learning then is targeted in those periods of time because ultimately the staff learning is translates down to the kids
Right.
and
Right.
what we're doing. So that's a big piece of it. We also use some state surveys and do some triangulation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a survey called the PAYS survey, which is the Pennsylvania Youth Survey, and but it measures it's self-reported, and students in grades 6 through 12 take it currently. I think they're going to try to expand it from to down to grade 4, which would be interesting to see. But it looks at both risk factors and protective factors.
Hmm.
Um, and it gives us, again, it's student self reporting, but if students are saying that, um, I'm being picked on at school,
Right.
and then what is that about? Like, where's that coming at? And then does that match what our internal survey is also saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
if we're looking at like one of the things that we saw that was across multiple surveys was being picked on for appearance.
Mm-hmm.
And then what do we do? Like how do we start to address that and make sure that we're paying attention to when and where is that happening? What's it really about?
Right.
How do we get to the heart of how we address that and make sure that kids feel safe and respected in school? Um, the The other one is there's a state climate and culture survey.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another like triangulation piece, and that one goes out to the full community. Unfortunately, like we send it out to the full community, and we often, what do we get the last time? Six?
Mm, not a lot.
Yeah, like
Results.
like really,
Yeah. So
like really
how
minimal results compared to like the number of people that it went out to.
yeah.
But the
How do you
teachers do a nice job.
How do you differentiate between, it's a lot of data that you're talking about, survey from here, survey from here.
Mhm.
We
Oh,
do a
yeah, yeah, yeah.
survey, right? And then I'm sure you have, raw data points of just one-to-ones and people's
Mhm.
conversations and,
Yeah,
things
yeah.
coming up the chain. All kinds of leaders deal with this issue. How do you differentiate between noise and
Mhm.
legitimate concerns when you're
Mhm.
trying to implement change and
Yeah,
transformation?
that's such a good question too, because there are sometimes noise is because people don't know the whole story.
Mm-hmm.
And if we know the whole story, we can put the pieces together and then you can identify that that's noise because they don't know the whole story and it's not a whole story that we can communicate.
Right.
So whenever there's, you know, there are times when I like, confidentiality laws are awesome, obviously, and
Mm-hmm.
very much a necessity in the
Yeah.
world that we live in. But boy, it would be so much easier if we could just tell the whole story sometimes.
But they tie your hands and they make it more
Yeah,
challenging. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Mhm.
So that's one piece. The other piece is we use uh the five finger rule.
Okay.
So if we're hearing rumblings about something from five or more people,
Okay.
then it is probably far more widespread than just those five people.
Got it.
And it means that we probably need to get um, out in front of whatever is rumbling and get the actual narrative and the true story out there for people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so that we use like what we're hearing and from how many people to differentiate as well.
Yeah.
Um,
That's great.
and,
I love that.
like one of the places where we really wanted to do some work was belonging.
Okay.
And when we were seeing, you know, noise might be nobody loves me and and people all, like, but I'm not getting enough playtime. That's noise. Um, but we're seeing across three different surveys that students from traditionally marginalized populations are feeling marginalized,
Mm-hmm.
that's not noise.
Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's something that we're like, okay, we need to
Right.
we need to work on this. We have this segment of our student population
Yeah.
that's still feeling like they're on the outskirts
Mm-hmm.
of what's happening around here, and we need them to be franchised. We need to bring them in and
Right.
be part of what we're doing.
So one of the biggest changes you've made recently is very interesting to me as a parent is you've banned cell phones.
We
Is that
have.
right? And
We have.
that I think is bold in today's climate. And you were one of the first districts in the area. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, yeah, it is.
So super interesting. Thank you for doing that on behalf of children and
You're
parents
welcome.
everywhere. It's probably not popular for me to say that, but walk me through like the moment you knew this is the direction you had to go. What was your tipping point, and how did you make that decision? Was it
Mhm.
uphill? Was it downhill?
It's a great question. And it was all things considered, it was pretty smooth sailing,
Okay.
really. But a concern with some online bad behavior was brought to me by a couple of board members,
Mm-hmm.
and they were like, "When are we going to get rid of cell phones at the high school?" And I said, "I don't know. When are we going to have policy on that?"
Mm,
And they were like, "Would you be supportive of policy of that?" I'm like, "I sure would."
got it.
And that way, we're doing it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Because prior to that, we had like red zones and green zones, and teachers could decide if their classroom was a red zone or a green
Oh
zone.
yeah.
Um, and there was a lot of pressure on the teachers who were saying no cell phones because not everybody was saying the same thing.
Yeah.
And so then you're the bad guy or you're the mean one. And
Sure, and that's not supportive of teachers then who are
exactly,
trying to make the
exactly.
call. Yeah.
Exactly. And the middle school had policy in place or procedure in place for years that you come in, cell phones go in your locker, close the locker. We don't want to see them or hear them all day long. Very successful, very
Got it.
easy, very
Mm-hmm.
appropriate. Um, and so we were like, let's do the same thing at the high school.
Mm-hmm.
Like we'll have a couple of years maybe of some pushback from some kids because it's not what they're used to. But as the kids come from the middle school to the high school, it's what they already know.
Right.
It's not going to be that different for them. But let's do it together. And that was the key is the board writing policy.
Mm-hmm.
And then, as a district administration and staff, us implementing that policy. And the biggest change was really at the high school. It wasn't that big of a change for grades 8 and below.
Okay.
Um, but there were some things to work through. One of the pieces was, do we get something like the yonder pouches?
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to do that sort of thing? Um, and that was a piece where the community really was not in favor of that. We got quite a bit of feedback on that. They didn't want to see us spending like,
Mm.
between 30 and $50,000 on all this equipment. And we were like, let's try just reassigning lockers. We hadn't assigned lockers during COVID. We realized that when we
Yeah.
cleaned out
Yeah.
lockers, when nobody was here, that maybe a third of the high school lockers were
Right. Was
being
actually
used at
using
all.
them. Yep.
Exactly. So we're like, let's assign lockers.
Mm-hmm.
And we did that. And so the rule is we don't want to see them or hear them. So it can't be in a pocket, can't be someplace where it can be visually
Mm-hmm.
identified as a phone on your person.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not searching bags or that sort of thing. If it's in your backpack and it's turned off, nobody sees it. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's worked out great. And I think the kids, they gave some concern and pushback at the beginning for sure. But I would say, I'm kind of looking across at Sarah, I would say within 2 months, they were like, this is great.
Oh, okay.
Like we like this. Um, and it was interesting watching it spill over into other spaces where their phones were not restricted.
Mm-hmm.
I think one of the places where it was most striking for me, um, in our first year of implementation, we were at a basketball game,
Mm-hmm.
and my husband and I always sit, kind of off to the edge beside the middle school group that sometimes needs a little reminder of how to behave. So we sit there, but it's directly across from the student section, for the high school student section.
Yeah.
And we were standing there. We were all standing because it was a very exciting game. And I was like, look at the kids. And I'm like, what do you see?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, it looks like it was Jersey night. And I'm like, yes,
Okay.
yes, it was.
And
And also, what else do you see?
or what don't you see?
Right. And he was looking at them and looking at them. And I said, okay, look at the visitor student section and then look back at our kids. And he looked and he was like, they don't have their phones out.
Hmm.
And I was like, yeah, how about that?
That's
I'm
cool.
like, look at that comparison. Like our kids are engaged with the game. They're cheering for their teammates. There's a whole big section of them. Like, and they don't have their phones out.
They don't have their phones out.
Hmm. It's
That,
it's cool.
yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Any indication that that is happening more than just when you saw it?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
you see it so much all the time now. Like
Mm-hmm.
and you hear the kids talking about how like they enjoy having conversation with each other
Mm-hmm.
and interacting with one another. And you go in classrooms and the classroom environment is completely different.
Mm.
Like I used to get so frustrated going into observed classroom and seeing like 4 or 5 kids with their phones on their laps, underneath.
Yeah,
And,
sure.
you know,
Just hiding from
the
things.
teacher's like, am I going to fight this battle today? Am I not going to fight this battle today? And now you go into classrooms and you have this like, they're engaged with one another, they're engaged with their teacher. You don't have that even as a battle. It's just not even
Right.
a thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's great.
You've just changed the entire
Mhm.
battlefield and
Yeah,
removed
exactly.
the issue for the teacher. Um, what do you think the key to implementation was? Just having that universal rule across all the
I think
schools?
I think that was a big piece of it,
Mm-hmm.
knowing that this isn't just on individuals, it's a group and community effort.
Mm-hmm.
I think the high school administration just did a phenomenal job working through how are we rolling this out, um, how are we communicating it. That was another big piece, is we communicated it all through the summer. Like,
Yeah.
this is coming.
It's
This is
coming.
this is what we're doing. This is what
Yeah.
it's going to look like. And the first board meeting in August, the high school administrative team did a phenomenal presentation on, this is how we're doing it. This is how we're
Mm-hmm.
rolling it out. We're going to start every single day with and they're still doing it. Like every single day starts with "Welcome to Hershey High School." Reminder: we're a bell to bell, no cell school. It's time to put your cell phones away. And
Right.
that's everybody's warning.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody gets the same warning, which means that
If we see it.
you get your
Yeah.
phone out, you've got an automatic detention.
Got it.
And they really debated, do we give the kids like a 2 week get
Get used
used
to it
to it
idea. Yeah.
thing, or do
Mm-hmm.
we just do it? And in looking at like all the research with this sort of thing, we're like, we just have to rip the Band-Aid off and
Mm-mm.
do it.
Yeah. No gray. It's black and white.
Mm-mm. Just do it.
Yeah.
And it's I think they were really worried that they were going to spend a lot of their time disciplining cell
Mm-hmm.
phone violations. Mm, and they didn't. Like, I think the kids really sometimes, I think the kids are appreciative of adults
Mm-hmm.
creating appropriate boundaries for them
Right.
and letting them have the space to breathe
Mm-hmm.
in that period of time.
Mm-hmm.
And they're also great kids. Like, we
Yeah.
have such good kids, and they don't want to get in trouble. They don't want to disappoint their teachers. They don't want to disappoint their principals. They don't want to disappoint their parents. They're just
Mm-hmm.
super sweet, wonderful kids.
Aw.
And I think their niceness
Yeah.
and
And
and the
the
policies
clarity.
show, like, yeah,
Clear is
it
kind, right? We say this
exactly,
all the time in leadership.
exactly.
Clear
And
is
then the
kind.
teachers all had to be on the same page too.
Yes.
Like, there couldn't be
Yep.
like, it couldn't be like the gum chewing rule where you can chew gum in my classroom, just don't tell anybody.
Right. Right.
You can't, there's none of that kind of thing. Everybody has to do the same thing.
All have to
Everybody
have
has
their
to be on the
backs.
same page.
Mm-hmm.
And just getting everyone on that same playing field, that same page, just that was the key.
Yeah. And preparation, clarity, and then just
Yep,
pull
exactly. It
the
wasn't a
band-aid.
surprise. We didn't
Yeah.
surprise anybody
Right,
with
right,
it.
right. Yeah. What's your advice to other superintendents who might be, or executives who might be considering something similarly unpopular but needed as policy?
Don't be afraid.
Hmm.
Like, don't be afraid. You have to not be afraid to do the thing that you know is the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it might feel uncomfortable. But right, I shouldn't say don't be afraid. I should say be courageous.
Yeah, because you're still going to be
Because you're
afraid,
going to be
right?
afraid no matter
Yeah,
what,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
being
yeah.
afraid is not a bad thing.
No,
But
but
be
do it
courageous.
anyway.
Yeah, do the
Yeah,
thing. Do the
yeah.
thing that you know is the right thing to do, even though you some people might be a little unhappy about it. And I
Mm-hmm.
and I will say that, like, the community feedback on no yonder pouches was really easy feedback to listen to and be like, yeah, we
Right.
agree. We don't really want to do
Yeah, we
that
don't want to spend
either.
that kind of money either, right?
Yeah, we don't want to
That's
spend the money. We don't want the schedule disruption. We don't, we just don't
Mhm.
really want to deal with that either. Um, so that was really easy feedback to take into account. Um, but otherwise, I think a lot of people, the majority of people, were really supportive and really happy we were doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. What
Yeah.
would you say is your next sacred cow that you're looking at that needs disruption?
You're
Mhm.
gonna make me say that out loud on this. Uh, the high
Yes.
school schedule.
Oh, yes, yes. You've talked about that in the past.
Yes,
Starting
yes,
at
the high
what,
school
7 or
schedule.
whatever. Mm-hmm.
Yes, it really needs to be changed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Specifically, we need time for teachers to be able to meet in collaborative teams
Yeah.
to do the same kind of work that we're doing K-8 to support students.
Mm-hmm.
And we need true intervention opportunities at the high school. We have some, but they're all kind of lumped into, to this one period, like in your
Yeah.
schedule throughout the day. It's not as targeted or specific as what it could be to really serve students
Mm-hmm.
to the best of our ability. But that schedule gets in the way.
What time would you
Um,
like them to start?
for me, it's not too much about start times.
Mm.
That part of it, I mean, I would love to see us be able to start at 8 o'clock, but that just blows everything
Mm-hmm.
district wide up. And we own our own buses, so we'd have to buy a whole bunch more. Like, just to make it work, it would just,
Sure, sure.
just that's a nightmare. Um, what I would like to see instead is opportunities for some flexibility.
Got it.
So, if I have an internship and my internship is in the morning, I come into school at 11.
Mm-hmm.
Or if I have, a study hall from 11 to noon, I can leave from
Yeah.
11 to noon.
Right.
The biggest change I would like to see is fewer periods with longer
Got it.
chunks of time. Not necessarily a block schedule, although I'm not opposed to some type of block. It's not ideal for all types of classes all year round. So, but there's just so many ways to use time within the framework that we have
Mm-hmm.
that could be more productive and more uh, kid friendly
Yeah.
than what we currently have. I feel like our current schedule feels like you're in the hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Like it's like 40 minutes, 10 periods, 11 periods, something like that. Like it just
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
you hardly get to dive into something before you have to pack
It's
it
time
all
to
up
go. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
go. So even a 55-minute period um,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
would make a huge difference in the way that the day feels and the amount of work that a teacher could get done with a class
Yeah.
in that amount of time.
So this is your next project?
I don't know if it will happen while I'm still
You
here.
might hand this off to the next one.
It could be. It could
Very
be one of
good.
those
Very good.
things because it does take time and planning.
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
And it does need stakeholders at the table.
Mm-hmm.
And there will be some changes that maybe feel really good to some people and really painful to other people
Yeah.
whenever they find a schedule that does work.
That'll go back to your first year of right managing decisions,
Yeah,
divisiveness, and lots of conflict.
exactly.
You'll
Exactly.
have all of the skills for it.
Exactly. Exactly.
What would you say is the most difficult leadership lesson you've ever learned, and how did you learn it?
The most difficult one. Hmm. Brene Brown always is like, what's that leadership lesson that just like keeps coming back around, back around, back around?
Smacking you in the face.
Yeah, it's smacking you in the face, that one. And I think that one for me and probably lots of people in leadership roles is that you can't over communicate.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
you think you've communicated something
Mm-hmm.
repeatedly and clearly and succinctly, only to learn
Right.
that 7 out of the 20 people who heard the message heard something completely different than what you thought you were saying. and,
Yes.
and
Yep.
I don't know how, like, so you just have to keep re-communicating
Right.
it. Like
Right.
there, like it's just not possible to over communicate. So
Yeah.
that,
Patrick Lencioni calls us CROs, Chief Reminding Officers.
yes,
Just keep
yes,
reminding and
yes,
reminding. And
yes,
you have to say it over and over again
yeah,
until you
over and
want to
over and over again.
vomit because you have to
Yes,
say it again.
yeah, you
You
feel like
have
a
not
total
said it.
broken record.
Until they make,
Um,
I think one of the clues I've seen is like, until they make fun of you in the way that you say it, you have not said it enough.
yep, 100%,
Yeah. Here
100%.
comes Stacy. You know what she's going
Yep,
to talk
you
about.
know what she's gonna say.
Yep. Then you're like, secretly, you have to be, yes,
Yeah,
I
exactly,
did it.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh. So, Stacy, teacher year one, what would you go back and tell yourself?
Oh, I would say when you decide to go for that higher degree and you're in it and you're like, I'm not going to get my principal cert because I'm never going to be a principal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to get my letter of eligibility because I'm never going to be a superintendent. Just do it. Just do
Mm-hmm.
it because you don't know
Right.
what's going to open up and what's going to happen. And then you won't have to go back and read, like, take those classes that you didn't take at
Oh, I'm sensing some redos here.
that time. 100%.
Oh, yeah. Because you're going to get bored, Stacy. You're going to get bored. So get yourself ready.
There's going to be opportunities that open up that you never would have thought that you were going to do. Like I
Right.
used to always say that teaching is a dead end job for me. Like I love the classroom. I want
Mm-hmm.
to be with the kids. That's what I want to do.
Okay.
I never in my younger years saw myself leaving the classroom.
Mm-hmm. And here you
And
are,
and here I am.
the furthest from the classroom
In the
in
classroom.
district you can get.
Right. Right. Yes.
And you're still teaching. You're just teaching the adults,
Yeah.
right? That's
Just
all
doing it
leadership
differently.
is, yeah. Oh my gosh, this has been great. I have some rapid fire questions for the end here. They are not
Okay.
leadership oriented, so get
Okay.
ready.
All right. I'm ready.
What book or books are you reading right now?
Okay. I have 3 going right now. I'm listening to The Splendid and the Vile.
Okay.
Eric Larson's book about Winston Churchill,
Mm-hmm.
World War II. It's fantastic. I love it. I've learned so many like little idiosyncratic things that I had no idea about previously. I just learned yesterday that the Germans blew up a bunch of French ships in order, or no, I'm sorry, not the Germans, the British blew up a bunch of French ships um, prior to Britain getting fully involved in the war because they didn't want the Germans to have them and they wanted the French to relinquish them to them. And I was like, I did not know that happened. Like that, I had no idea that that was, one of the, I don't know, moving of the chess pieces
Mm-hmm.
in
Mm-hmm.
there. So I have that going. I am reading Sunrise on the Reaping. So it's that
Mm.
prequel to the Hunger Games with
Yes.
A.
Yep.
Mitch's story.
That's hanging around my
Um,
house too.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm enjoying that. And then I have Jojo Moya's Moyes, I don't know how to say her last name, Moyes, that I borrowed from the library that I'm reading on my phone. And that one is so I can't think of the title, but I'm also really enjoying that one.
Mm-hmm.
I read it almost the whole way home from 1+1.
1+1. Okay. Yeah, you introduced me to the Libby app. Thank you for that, by the way.
You're welcome. My daughter introduced me
Love
to
that. Very good. Very good. Okay. Binge-worthy television series.
Oh gosh. Um, Also I'm reading Strong Ground. Sorry.
It's okay.
It's really good. I love that one. um, that's Brene Brown's new one. So binge-worthy TV
Mm-hmm.
series. I loved Ted Lasso.
Yes.
If I'm going to sit down and just like watch something,
Over and over
like
and over.
just such a great how humans should behave kind of
Mm-hmm.
story and show. Um, and Schitt's Creek,
Yes.
like
So
just
good.
such a great. My sister was like, "You have to watch this show," and I watched the first two episodes, and I was like, "I don't know, like this is dumb. I don't think I'm gonna like this." And she was like, "Stick with it.
It's like
Trust
a
me."
train wreck. You just keep watching.
Right.
Yeah.
And by
Okay.
like the middle, I'm like, these characters are so endearing. They're so
Mm-hmm.
sweet, and I love them so much. And just, yeah, just another feel good kind of show.
Very good. On a scale of 1 to 10, how weird are you?
How weird am I?
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. I don't know.
Then I'm guessing it's a low number.
No, it's probably high because I have a blind spot to my own weirdness. That's probably what it is. It probably depends on the thing. Like I've got some weird food rules, and that's probably where most of my weirdness comes out.
Got it. Got it. If a movie was made about your life, who would you want to play you?
Oh gosh. Hmm. I love Sandra Bullock. She's so quirky. I feel like she'd be
She would
great.
get you. She would get you.
Yeah.
Very good. Which room in your house resonates with you most?
Oh, my office. I love my office. That's something that
Yeah.
I had when we first moved into the house. It was my office, and then it became my husband's office, and then it became my youngest child's art room.
Oh, no.
And now that she's been out, the project was to reclaim it.
Take it
And
back. That's right.
yeah, and it's my space.
Good. And if you were a flavor of ice cream, what would you be?
A flavor of ice cream.
I know you thought you already had the hard questions.
Yeah, like Kirsten, where'd you come up with this question? A flavor of ice cream. Oh gosh, I'm so like not fun. So many times it's
See, that's
probably
why I think you're low on the weird.
it's probably just vanilla is what I would be.
Vanilla. See, very good. I pick vanilla because one, it goes with apple pie or a brownie sundae. Can go
That's
either
true. It
thing.
does. It goes with all the other
It
things.
goes with everything. All right. This has been so great. I've really, really enjoyed this conversation. We've gone from, why the heck did you become the leader during COVID or right after COVID? Transformation, making kids feel belonging, which is just, so important these days. Banning cell phones. Let's get this tech out of their hands. To how to drive good decisions and taking that strategy down into the classroom and supporting teachers, because when you support teachers, you're supporting the kids.
100%.
So just some amazing things for our listeners today. And I really appreciate your time.
Yeah,
Thank you so much. If they want to learn more about Derry Township School District, how do they do that?
Our website is phenomenal. Ms. Sarah Harmer keeps it up to date and all the good stuff at the forefront.
Awesome. Well, I'll have all of that in the show notes. So thank you so much. It was a
We
great
also
conversation.
have phenomenal social media for the district. I'm not a big social media person, but the district has phenomenal Facebook and Instagram.
I will find those and put those on the show notes as well. Thank you so much. Been a great conversation. Thanks, Stacy.
Thanks, Kirsten.
All right. Bye.
See ya.
Thank you for joining me today for another great Hustle Conversation with the Central PA Executive. You can find out more about my guest in the show notes. And if you liked the episode or have something to add to our conversation, please find me on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen. Subscribe, rate, and review. Remember, leadership is best practiced in community. You know a leader who needs to hear something from this episode, so pay it forward and send it to them today. Don't wait. Until next time, the best leaders not only lead well, they live well and learn well. Bye now.